Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Mattel Creations exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins he-Skeletors. I like to call him Blueberry He-Man and not Slime Pit He-Man, which I'm sure a lot of people would have rather have gotten and would have made a little bit more sense for this spooky season of the year. Of course, this figure is brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel. And I don't care if I said Mattel Creations at the beginning of this video. I like doing my Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson thing when I say fine folks over at Mattel. So, get over it. This is my channel, my rules. You want to do reviews your way? Make your own channel, start posting videos. It's free, okay? That said, getting right into the meat and taters of this review, because this is going to be, hopefully, relatively quick, because it is just Blue He-Man, for crying out loud. he-Skeletor does come with a mini-comic. Something to do with the multi-core there, and on the back, a whole lot of nothing. Just the MOTU logo again, in case you forgot what toy line this is. That said, in the way of he-Skeletor's accessories, he does come with the power sword and the axe, which is nice. The sword, of course, fits on the back. And then he also comes with the same shield as He-Man. Now, let me get this straight. This is supposed to be Skeletor as He-Man, right? Shouldn't his shield like have the skull on it? Maybe his armor have some bones and a skull on it instead of just the studs and the cross there? Am I missing something, or is this not entirely accurate to the source material it's based on? Because I know Anti-Eternia He-Man is just, black and red repainting He-Man, but that is what Anti-Eternia He-Man is, as well as Slime Pit He-Man. It's just green He-Man with like black and red armor. This guy, it seems like they could have threw a couple new parts at him, and it wouldn't have cost very much. So that kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. Especially since we already got the best kind of human, not messed up version of Skeletor already with Keldor. It would have been nice to see him go a little bit further with he-Skeletor here, since he was a Mattel Creations figure and costs more than a standard figure typically does. That said, bringing him in, I think this guy, while is a decent companion to that Anti-Eternia He-Man, I could see a lot of people using him as custom fodder for a really cool Alfredo Skeletor. And that would be pretty cool. You could take the head from the Rise of Evil Keldor Cronus 2-pack, slap that on here with some Skeletor bits, and have a really cool Skeletor on your hands. Because I think the mini-comic Skeletor is supposed to have these kinds of boots. I guess you could always use the Keldor boots also, but I think he has these kinds of boots. The fuzzy ones with the wraps. So, yeah, and he's got the bracers, so that's something else he's got going for him also. That said, as far as articulation goes, his head is on a double ball joint. Again, I'd really love to see them incorporate this in Masterverse, because look at that. Look at all the range you get out of this. He can look up, he can look down, he can tilt side to side, you can rotate. Like, it's perfect, and you don't have any lollipop. It doesn't look like it's sitting too high on the neck. Amazing. Shoulders go out to the side, and as I said in Frogmonger's review, the joints on these guys are pretty tight as of late, and this guy's no exception to that. He's got some of the tightest joints I think I've seen. That said, his shoulders rotate. He does have an elbow twist and a hinge. You can hear that. That detent in there is really tight. His wrists have hinges and rotate. The waist is standard. It's not any tighter than it needs to be. Popping that out to the side. The hips kick out to the side. They kick back down. They rotate forward and back. He's got a swivel at the knee as well as a hinge. I remember one of his knees being kind of tight. That one kind of snapped when I bent it, but not in a bad way. That said, he does have a boot swivel with a hinge in the foot, a rocker, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet for a stand if you want to hook him up. So that's it for he-Skeletor. It is Blue He-Man, Blueberry He-Man as I like to call him. That said, if you had some extra orange Skeletor armor, you could make a cool Faker with like black hair out of this too, if you wanted to. Or even the purple armor and have a different take on Faker if you wanted. Because, you know, Faker is also a blue He-Man. But not a figure I pulled out for size comparisons, which we will move right along to and take a look at right now. First up, here is good old he-Skeletor alongside his companion piece, the Anti-Eternia He-Man, whose joints aren't nearly as tight as he-Skeletor's, I must say. Kind of unfortunate, but he did come out around that time. The joints were still kind of loosey-goosey in some places, but I must say I think mine is a little bit better than some others out there. That said, I just remembered he-Skeletor here was part of the Mattel Creations fan vote, which the mini-comic Triclops inevitably won. And then, of course, we've already gotten Wondar from that same vote. And now we have he-Skeletor. The only one we never got was the Anti-Eternia Man-at-Arms. And I know that the local friend, who shall not be named for privacy reasons, would probably really appreciate that one if it ever got produced. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that happens someday. That said, we also have the only other non-effed up version of good old Boneface Keldor off to the right there. And if you wanted to do some swaps between Keldor and he-Skeletor, you probably could, but it'd be a little bit more involved than just a simple head swap. You'd have to swap the armor, if anything. So taking Anti-Eternia He-Man and Keldor out of the equation. This, of course, would not be one of my videos without bringing in the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus. Right there. And, of course, the infamous 11 Spawn, who wants to stand lately. I know he toppled over on me a couple videos back, but since these guys, of course, aren't 5.5-inch scale, they tower over he-Skeletor and are barely in frame. So, with all that being said, let's now move right along and wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do still believe that good old he-Skeletor here is a pretty good companion piece to the Anti-Eternia He-Man we have had for quite some time now, well over a year at this point, I think this figure mostly lends itself to some pretty solid custom fodder, because we haven't gotten a Skeletor in the Masters of the Universe Origins line, at least not to my knowledge, sporting this dark blue skin tone. And if you really put your mind to it, you could probably make a really cool Alfredo Alcala inspired Skeletor out of this guy with the right parts, of course. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.